The fall season is wrapping up. Some great coverage is coming your way tonight on SEC Sports.
Yeah, soccer and volleyball sections are underway, and the football season is almost coming to a close. We'll get you up to date on all the latest action right here on Sports Path.
Hi everybody and welcome to Sports Path. We've got another activities director on the phone today in our Hold the Phone segment. And we also have all the standings and highlights, so it should be a great show for you. I'm Sam Erickson, always alongside my main man, John Miller. How you doing this evening, John?
Oh, I'm great. You know, it should be a good show. We got section playoffs underway. You know, it's always an enjoyable time as these kids are laying it all out on the line, Sam.
Oh, you got some careers on the line, John. That is right. We're going to wonder who's going to step it up in the section tournaments when they get underway. But first, let's get right into the newest edition of how we like to start off every program with the social media montage. All right, well, we got a quick social media montage for this week. We want to start off with a video posted on Facebook. This video was posted on the White Bear Lake Area Schools Community Services and Recreation page. Say that 5 times fast. Back on October the 9th, and that shows the ice going in at White Bear School District Hippodrome. You know what that means? That the hockey season is just around the corner, and that's always an exciting time here in Minnesota.
Oh man, that's some cool footage they got there. But that's right, the next we've got a tweet from Montague High School girls tennis team. The team is headed to the state for the 5th year in a row. They swept the 4 AA girls tennis bracket and shut out all their opponents. What an impressive feat. That ended with a big win over Roseville on October 11th. So congratulations to the Montague girls tennis for another successful season so far. And girls, let's win state.
Yeah, do it again. If you remember last year, took down an Edina team that won it 25 or so years in a row. So
yeah.
Good job, Montague. Looks like they're the new dynasty in town. Gotta love that. Well, that's about it for our social media montage. Great stuff as always. And a reminder, you can always tag us at SEC TV Sports on Twitter to let us know about what's going on at your school. I think that'll do it for that social media montage. Let's roll that clip.
All right, now let's take a look at the football Suburban Gray standings. Getting right into it, Montague is currently at 6-1 overall. Unfortunately for them, they're second in the conference behind South St. Paul. Montague may have a better record, but South St. Paul is undefeated in conference play. They have no conference game left to go. So South St. Paul is your Suburban Gray Conference champion. Now let's take a look where Tartan ended up. They finished the year 1-3 in conference. 2-5 overall. They played Montague in a really close one last week. You know, they lost a bunch of seniors from last year, so it's really tough for them to keep up. But playing close to a Montague team that's really good, finishing the year at 6-1 overall, Sam, is very impressive.
Yeah, so that was Montague over in the Suburban Gray, where they're unfortunately going to miss out on that conference championship, but not too prestigious of a conference quite yet, so no concerns there. Hopefully they can pick it up in postseason play. Now we're going to look at those Suburban Gold standings that you've been staring at for a little while, and nothing going for North St. Paul this year, unfortunately, as they are 0-7. They take on a very good Montague team last week to end the regular season. Didn't win that one, unfortunately. Time for the Pullers to find out what they have working for next season. It's amazing to think that this was a state tournament team only a couple years ago.
Yeah, how things changed, Sam. All right, let's head over to the Metro East. Another season so far without a win for White Bear Lake. They have one more shot to get a win, and that's against Mounds View, which will be when this airs on Wednesday. Creighton Durham Hall sits atop the standings undefeated in conference play at 5-0, but they play second place Roseville, who only has one conference loss. So this battle will be for all the marbles for the conference crown, and that's Wednesday as well. And this should be an amazing matchup. Both great teams. I've watched them. I've broadcasted a couple of their games. They really match up together. They're kind of the same team. They've got Brooks Bollinger. Let's see if he can win that conference championship.
Oh, anytime you got a former professional as a head coach, I mean, good things there.
Except for Hill Murray with Pete Persich.
Hey, moving in the right direction, though. I mean, got a good influence to have on campus and with your football team. Well, John, I think that's about it for football then. And with the final games tonight, we'll head to section tournaments coming up in the next week. Now we'll switch over to soccer, of course, and they are already into their section tournament play. So, John, why don't you walk us through the standings before we talk about those section tournaments?
Yeah, so let's tell you guys how the Metro East standings wrapped up. The Metro East Conference ended with Matamidi and Hill Murray splitting the conference title. The Pioneers and the Zephyrs tied on October 3rd in a scoreless matchup. North St. Paul and Tartan can both be found at the bottom. Standings with only one win apiece. Stay tuned because we have the matchup between those two bottom feeders coming right up.
And in the Suburban East for girls soccer, White Bear Lake at the top finished out the year with a perfect 8-0-0 record in conference and were crowned champions. The Bears had a fantastic season running the table in the very difficult Suburban East and didn't lose a game after September 9th, winning 10 in a row. Congratulations on the amazing season, and I'm sure our PAL Activities Director, Brian Peliquin, is excited to see yet another trophy added to the case over there at White Bear High School.
Yeah, Brian Peliquin stepping into, awards already with his teams. But let's take a look at the quarterfinals for girls 4AA soccer. If you notice on top, there's a blank spot. That's because we actually covered the play-in game. The 8-seeded Tartan play against 9-seeded North St. Paul in a District 622 showdown. My man Sam has the highlights.
You know what, John? It's the showdown. There it is. Tartan welcoming North St. Paul to town. So Tartan actually got the higher seed in that one. And we got two Fab Four schools squaring off in Section 4-2A to start things out in that play-in game. Early on, Tartan looked like they might have had a chance. The goalie comes out there at the same time to stop that one. Later in the first, Colshaw Klein centers it for Zaria Brown. She turns for a shot on net. The goalie comes up with a big block once again. You see it right there in the high-vis green. Nice job by the Polar goalie. Tartan has another centering pass for Mariana Esquivel. Goaltender beats her to it, and we are still scoreless after the first half. Tartan continues their push in the second half. Colshaw Klein with another shot on net, but another big save by Polar goalkeeper Lily Pfefferly. And finally, North gets a good shot on the other end. This is Lily Vang, shoots it just wide of the net, and things stay scoreless. So this one is going to head to overtime, and with the coin flip, you see right there, overtime is underway. North gets the first good shot on net. It's Lily Vang again, shoots it just wide once again. He has the goalie beat, but it doesn't go between the pipes, and we stay scoreless. Crowd gets a little excited on this one. High centering kick for Tartan. Pfefferly almost loses it and has to dive on it before Tartan takes control of the ball in front of the net. North running towards the net. Goalie dives for a ball. That goal is just wide, and we stay scoreless in overtime. But off the corner kick, Zoe Colshaw Klein finds it to head the ball into the net. That's Tartan's second win for the whole season as they get the game winner right there. Those two wins did come over school district rival North St. Paul. The first matchup between these two was a 4-3 game. Now this one 1-0 in overtime. After the game, we caught up with Zoe Colshaw Klein to talk to her about her game-winning goal after heading in the ball from that corner kick.
Number 21, senior.
It feels super great because the team was working really hard for it, and this was a really big game for us, especially with it being our rivals, so it felt great knowing that we can continue on. It's definitely a lot of fun because we know a lot of the girls and we play with them a lot during the summer and stuff like that, and a lot of them we used to go to school with, so it's definitely a lot of fun, but the competitiveness is raised because we want to be the best team in the school district. If we just show up and play our hardest, like we know we can, I think we can play really well. We got to do small passes and just do the little things and play together as a team, and I think it'll be a good game.
So Zoe, obviously talking about that big game coming up against White Bear there in that last answer. And John, why don't we take a look at that Section 4 2A bracket to see how they did in that game?
Yeah, well, looking back at the bracket, you see Tartan ended up losing to the Bears 7-0 in the quarterfinals, so their season is over. But look at the semifinals, huge upset as Mounds View takes out White Bear Lake in a big 2-1 win, and that was in overtime. That's it for 3 of our Fab 4 teams. Matamidi, of course, is in the 4 single A bracket.
Now we'll take a look at that single A bracket where Matamidi got the #1 seed and faced off against Mounds Park Academy in the quarterfinals. They shut out Mounds Park Academy 9-0 and went on to play St. Paul Como Park. It is currently Monday, so this episode was taped on Monday the 16th, and we do not know the results of that semifinal. We will get it to you on the next episode of Sports Pass, so stay tuned for that. And I think that will do it for girls soccer, so we're going to switch it on over to boys soccer. John, why don't you walk us through the Metro East standings, where things ended up at season's end?
Oh, I'd love nothing more than to do that, Sam. So North St. Paul ended up missing out on the Metro East Conference Championship. As you see, St. Thomas is on top. The Polars finished the year very strong with a 10-4-1 overall record, and their only loss was in the conference was to the champ St. Thomas. Matamidi finished right behind the top dogs, but finished the year with an impressive 11-3-1 overall record, which should set them up nicely in Section 4A.
And in the Suburban East, we see White Bear Lake, who was able to get one conference win against Eastridge back on September 21st, but other than that, it's been pretty tough sledding in the Suburban East for the Bears. White Bear did pick up a big win over Minnehaha Academy a week after beating that Eastridge team, but things will not get any easier as they face a tough Section 4 2A in the postseason. And I think we're going to take a look at that bracket right now. And after winning the Suburban East, Stillwater locked up that #1 seed in the Section 4 2A. North St. Paul received the 4 seed, and White Bear Lake got seed #5. So it's going to be a Fab 4 school matchup squaring off in the first round as North welcomed White Bear to town, and we've actually got highlights of that game right here. And they're going to be here right now. Take it away, John.
Yeehaw, it's a Fab 4 showdown, so let's take you to North St. Paul. We'll take you to early in the game where Ken Love Solon dribbles around some defenders. He kicks it out in front of the net, but no one's there to scoop it up. A missed opportunity there. So now we got a free kick for North. Big booming one from Eric Kubatowicz. Goalie catches that one. And now we'll take a look at this. Kubatowicz throws it in from near the corner, but it basically has the same effect as a corner kick. Man, that guy could throw the ball. No chance there. Here he is again from the other side. Long throw, deflected at the net, but the goalie reacts quickly. That keeps it scoreless. Now another long throw in. All they need is for one of these to connect. A lot of opportunities. But as you can see, it was close. The goalie's out, but no score. Now we'll have a corner kick for the Polars. That one will eventually be deflected by the goalie over the net, so that sets us up for another corner kick. And now you'll see a couple of headers, and Kubatowicz heads it right out over the net, right off the crossbar. That was their best chance yet so far in the early going. Now in White Bear Lake's first chance here, Lauren Altman passes it to head of Spencer Millard, and he only had one man to beat. He manages to get the goal for the first score of the game and a huge momentum changer for White Bear Lake. Now second half, Lauren Altman gets the ball on a centering pass. Now watch this ball curve. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at all that spin. Score 2-0 now. Altman with an impressive goal. Now another impressive throw from Kubatowicz. He throws it in on the far side. It gets deflected back to him, so he kicks it in on the net. Ball takes some weird bounces, and you'll see this one. North somehow gets this one to go in as Ken Love Solon gets that one. All lucky bounces on that one. They cut the score to 2-1. Now Lauren Altman will get the ball again on another centering pass. This one from the same spot on the field for his second goal of the night. Again, a huge curve on the ball. 3-1 White Bear Lake, and that'll be your final. That guy right there, Lauren Altman, carries his team to a section win. Some huge goals with some crazy kicks. He kind of had like a knuckleball, a curveball kind of kick. If you're the goalie, you can't really do anything about that, Sam. I know Ken Lovesola on that game kind of got a little heated at his goalie, but you really can't get upset at him if you watch that. Really impressive shots by Lauren Altman. And Sam, I think we're going to hear that kid's name later on in this show.
Yeah, right on. Got to close him down if you're that North St. Paul defense, especially on that second one. Kid's already proven that he can hit it from pretty far out, so I wouldn't have so much of a problem with the goalie as with the defenders in front of that goalie a little bit.
You tell him, Sam.
So White Bear pulled the upset over North St. Paul and got themselves into the semifinals to face that #1 seed Stillwater. But unfortunately, Stillwater escaped that game with a 1-0 win and still look to be favored to make it in the state tournament out of Section 4-2A. White Bear Lake's Cinderella run and season came to an end, but the Bears had a good year, picked up a nice win there in the postseason, so they should be very proud of themselves. Congrats, fellas, and you gave us a couple of pretty good highlights there for some soccer goals.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Upsetting North is no big deal, but of course, North losing Busquets, Judy, and Atta Clareman as they went back to Haiti. You gotta think that team would have had a legit chance to win the state title, Sam.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unfortunate for a team that, had so much promise going into the year, but had a great season nonetheless, and nice job there from White Bear picking up that win.
Yeah, now of course Matamidi is over in the 4 single A bracket for boys soccer again. Matamidi gets the 1 seed in boys soccer, just like the girls team. They faced off against St. Paul Washington in the quarterfinals and shut them out 4-0. St. Paul Como Park was their matchup for the semifinals, and we actually covered that game. But once again, because this episode was pre-taped, we can't show you the results of the semifinals.
We'll have them on our next episode, so stay tuned for that. And that just about does it for soccer, so stay tuned because coming up on Sports Path, we've got one more volleyball highlight before the section tournament starts, and we'll also hear from another one of our activities directors as Jed Helwig from North St. Paul joins us on our newest segment, Hold the Phone. We're going to hear some wise words from a wise man, so don't go anywhere.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back inside the Sports Pass studio. Sam Erickson joined alongside my main man, John Miller. Got a little bit of the show left for you. How you doing, John?
Oh, I'm good. We're about 3/4 of the way through the show, and we got a lot more here to give you. So let's get back into it. It's time for our newest segment, Hold the Phone. Well, this week on Hold the Phone, we have Activities Director Jed Helwig of North High School. We got him right here. Jed, thanks for joining us on this week's edition of Hold the Phone. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. Thanks for getting me involved with this interview, and looking forward to talking to you about North High and all the great things we got going on here.
Yeah, well, Jed, we know you guys just wrapped up homecoming last week. How did this year's homecoming celebrations go this year?
We had a positive week filled with energy and a bunch of activities throughout the course of the week. This year, during our school year, we've decided to implement during our 4th hour some different types of events for students to get involved in. An example would be bingo. We had a limbo contest. We had a dodgeball contest. And, of course, we wrapped up at the end of the week on Friday afternoon with the Spirit-Filled Pep Fest.
And that Friday afternoon Pep Fest obviously setting up for a big homecoming football game later that evening. How did that game go, Jed?
Well, we played Robbinsdale Cooper, and Robbinsdale Cooper's a solid football team. We did not come out ahead on the scoreboard on Friday night, but we competed and we had played a good game. After the football game, we filled the gymnasium with our homecoming dance. And what I want to talk about, though, is pregame and halftime, different types of performances that took place. Pregame, we had the band and the choir and our junior ROTC program present the flags. We also had our American Sign Language class signing the national anthem. So we had a bunch of activities pregame, and then during the halftime, we had a halftime performance by our band. They performed Back to the 80s, and also the senior girls performed a dance. And so just a ton of kids involved in not only the athletic portion of it, of the Friday football game, but also other different events that occurred that night. So we're really proud of all of our students' involvement in many different areas.
Yeah, so lots of good things going, not just, football, you're not doing so hot, but great things going on there during the game. So now we'll switch over to winter sports, something a lot more positive. Former boys basketball coach Joe Janquart actually took the head coaching job down at Lakeville, for you viewers who don't know, Lakeville South actually. And but you guys didn't waste any time in bringing in new head coach Damian Johnson, the former Gopher, the men's basketball player. He was a big defensive player. How did that all come about, and what does this season look like going into the senior season, especially for Good News Capegel? He's a heck of a player.
First of all, we're looking forward to an exciting winter season across the board, not just unique to boys basketball. Of course, we do have the hire of Damian Johnson. He brings another level and energy. Joe Jancourt laid a great foundation and is a wonderful person and coach. But we're just going to build upon that in the boys basketball world. We also hired a new girls basketball coach. His name is Scott Antill. He came over from Anoka. So both boys and girls basketball, we're excited, new leaders in the world of education-based athletics. We also, during the winter season, have obviously many other wonderful things that are going to take place in hockey and basketball, wrestling. We have a heavyweight returning, Corey Gunther, who's going to hopefully be down at the Excel again this year for the Minnesota State High School League Wrestling Tournament. We have adaptive floor hockey, gymnastics, boys swimming, Nordic ski. We have obviously many different events throughout the course of the winter. And you mentioned Good News Capegel. Yes, he's a great player, and we're looking forward to him. In his senior year, he also has a wonderful supporting cast with him that hopefully they can come together as a team and do good things during the winter season.
Well, we look forward to following you in the winter. It sounds like you're going to stay busy there, Jeb. Just got one last question for you. Are there any other events coming up at North High that we'd like to highlight for our viewers?
Well, yeah. We have Shrek. It's a musical. We have 2 weekends, November 2nd through the 4th, and November 9th through the 11th. Adults $10, students are $8. There's evening performances, and then they also have some matinees. And so we're really looking forward to all people in our community to come out and see our fine arts department performing Shrek. We also have some section volleyball and tennis going on, and so so we'd love to see everybody out and supporting not only our student athletes but all different opportunities we offer at North High.
Well, Jed, thanks a bunch for joining us via telephone and staying on hold for this week's edition of Hold the Phone.
Have a great week, and maybe we'll see you soon.
That, of course, was Jed Helwig, Activities Director over at North High School. This has been your most recent edition of our newest segment, Hold the Phone.
Just as we promised, that was Hold the Phone. We have one final volleyball highlight to show you before they start their section tournaments. Sam will be on that one, and we'll get you that clip right now.
I sure will. Almost forgot about it. Had Tartan welcome in South St. Paul in some Metro East volleyball action last week as Tartan looks to wrap up the conference slate. Doing a nice job this season. Marissa Gomez-John, one of the senior leaders on the team, gets a serve, starts things off great as Tartan took a 9-0 lead. You saw they got the set point right there to take the first set, 25-6. Some back and forth at the net in the second set. South St. Paul surprisingly goes on a 10-3 lead with that point right there. Now a serve into the net gives Tartan the 25-20 win in the second set. The Packers kept it a lot closer in that one, but as you see, Tartan was able to come back and pick up the set win. A big block near the beginning of the third set gives South St. Paul the 4-2 lead. The Packer is looking good in the beginning of some of these sets, but an ace for Tartan gives them the lead back at 5-4. Nice service there, and an 8-point scoring run was capped off by a huge spike that gives Tartan a 20-7 lead later on in that third set. And the final point, a big block for Tartan again. That's an easy win right there for Tartan, 3-0. South St. Paul not giving them too much competition besides the beginning of that second set. And after the match, we talked to senior Marissa Gomez-John to chat about her 9-point serving streak and what it means to be a senior on this Tartan team.
I think it really makes us energetic and just pumps us up because we know that we can come out in the second set and do the exact same thing or even do better. So I think that it's just a great starting point for us. No, she kind of just left it to us because we knew what we had to do, and it was just us, it wasn't them. So we just knew that we had to play our game and focus on our side, and we came out with a win. It's awesome. At first, we had high hopes for a couple seasons ago, and it didn't go our way that we wanted, but now it's really going up, and I think that's awesome for the years coming too, because not only this year is doing really well, but I know JV is, and the younger players coming up are gonna be awesome together. Yeah, I'm super excited. Our first section game is at home, actually. We won our bid. And then on Tuesday's our last conference game against Hill Murray, so that should be a really good game.
So good stuff there as Tartan adds another to the win column in the Metro East, and with some good younger players being led by the likes of Miss Marissa Gomez-John, things are looking good for the future of this Tartan volleyball squad. Now, no surprise to see North St. Paul there at the top of your Metro East standings. The Polars won the conference again this year, going undefeated in conference. The real question for the Polars is how things are going to shape up in section playoffs this year, which we'll get into in just a minute. But congratulations once again on the Polars on yet another Metro East title. And we'll switch over into the Suburban East, where we see White Bear Lake ending up at the bottom of the conference without a win. The Bears did win 7 games overall this year, improving on last year's win total of only 3. So that's the standings, and with that out of the way, let's take a quick look at how our Fab Four schools might end up in section play. We'll take a look at the Section 4 3A rankings, not quite the section bracket just yet.
Yeah, Section 4 3A is unique now for our Fab 4 schools. This is the only sport and section that features all 4 of our Fab 4 schools. North St. Paul sits at 14th in the QRF, and that is probably good enough for the number 2 seed. They just couldn't catch up to Stillwater, who has a heck of a team throughout the season in the QRF, and Tartan looks to lock up the 4 seed and play the winner of the 8 and 9 seed play-in game. Montague sits in the middle and will probably get the 6th seed, and White Bear Lake sits at the bottom and will probably get the 12th seed. All right, folks, before we wrap up the show, you know what time it is.
What time is it?
All right, for my male athlete of the week, I have to go with number 4, Lauren Altman of White Bear Lake, who played for the boys soccer team. Altman had a huge hand in an upset against North St. Paul. 2 goals and 1 assist that we showed you earlier. Played a heck of a game. He sure knows how to kick that ball to various different angles. It's crazy. Really a treat to watch. All right, so for my female athlete of the week, I have to go with another White Bear Lake soccer player, number 3, Kayla Anderson, who is just a sophomore but had 3 goals and a win over Tartan in the opening round of the sections. So congratulations to you, White Bear Lake soccer players. I know your team seasons have come to an end, which both came to an end in the second round of the sections, but I look forward to seeing how you guys end up next year. You know, you guys put it all on the line, and good things are coming with White Bear Lake boys and girls soccer.
So good stuff there. Can't believe fall sports are already wrapping up, John. Seems like time has flown by.
Oh, yeah, it has. It's been a treat watching all these guys. But you know what? Basketball season's coming up, Sam. That's some of our favorite stuff, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Listen to Jed Helwig getting pretty excited about basketball season down there at North. Not only on the boys' side, got a new coach on the girls' side as well. Had some promising young players that we saw in action last season, so excited to follow them, too.
Yeah, good news, Capego. We'll look forward to calling your games this year, brother.
No, don't have too much specific information on upcoming broadcasts because it's all dependent kind of on how section playoffs continue. But our next episode of Sports Path will be November the 1st. That will do it for us. John, nice show.
Yep, thanks, Sam. It's been a pleasure.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Roman open again from the far side. Beats the goaltender for the Bullers.
She has been there almost all night here so far. That one tickles the net, comes over. Nope, to Griffin. This one sent over, blocked by Lyle. Slammed down by LeMay. And Park can't keep it alive. They balance